Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Right along. Welcome to the ride. Yeah. Welcome to Wednesday on the ride. How you guys doing? Rose, Eileen, how you doing? Pick up yourself. Welcome. Yes. As you're coming, go ahead and share, guys. Go ahead and share. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a conversation. This is Ride Along Live. You know, if it happens anywhere, happens on Ride Along, right? Have to. We got a conversation, guys, today. I want you guys to I want to get all the analytics and the people who are investigators. We know Ride Along has a lot of those. We'll talk about all of that stuff. Let me just share the program over on my page and introduce my friend that's going to be joining us today, Dwight Sampson from Montserrat. He's going to be joining me today as we analyze this shocking, very shocking video that was released today. Boy. Samasha Sanis Claus, how you doing? Where's my share button? Hold on, guys. Before we start, everybody got to share the thing, right? Everybody got to share the program. Let me do that right now as well. Share. All right, that's good to go. Lydia. Hold on, guys. We're gonna talk. Let me do my work first. Share, and share. Lord have his mercy. Let's not waste no time, guys. Let me introduce and bring in my friend. He's a journalist. He's a Grenadian journalist based out there in Montserrat. For those of you who remember Sampson, he used to be a journalist for TV6. Now he's a big-time journalist out there in Montserrat. Dwight Sampson, my brother, how you doing?
Hey, good afternoon, Junior. Good afternoon to all the riding family. I'm doing well today. I'm doing well. A little bit shocked, of course, but I'm doing well. All things considered.
All things considered, it's a crazy day. It's been a crazy day. Before we gotta get into this conversation, Sampson, I want you to introduce yourself to the riders. As the senior here for the first time, so you get an opportunity to let them get to know you a bit. Because I have a feeling we're gonna be around a little bit more often on the ride. Because there's so many things that you input on, and I want to get your views on. So go ahead, introduce yourself a little bit more to the viewing audience.
All right. Well, I guess everybody knows me. I'm very frequent on Facebook, and I'm not a person who's shy in terms of sharing my opinions on different things, and I'm a stickler for certain things, of course. I spent a very, very short tenure at Comedy Channel 6, where I did some training with Beverly Sinclair and the team there, Sherry and Noel and the team. Previous to that, I did a lot of work in communications with my good friend and mentor, Ken Roy Batiste. I've been around for a long time, so I don't think I'm new in terms of face. I've been out of Grenada for some 9 years now. I've been out of Grenada. I first went in Trinidad for a little while, and then I moved here to Montserrat.
Okay, good enough. Good to know. All right, let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's talk about this video that was released earlier today. Let me first say that I got wind of the situation involving this young man that passed away about a few months ago, where one of our investigators on the island sent a story to me that she said that she think that we should investigate, we should look at it closer. The investigation, I mean, the story came in a little bit like this, right? We was told that they have somehow contaminated chicken in Grenada. That's how we got it. She said to me that we need to launch this investigation because there have been 2 individuals that ate contaminated chicken and somehow very ill. In fact, the person who brought the story to me, she also told me that she herself had some sort of contaminated chicken, and she wants the general population to know that this is happening. 2 days later, after talking to her, finding out about how she's feeling, she also alerted me of a young man who she said ate the same contaminated chicken, but she's telling me that it is something, he's in worse condition. He's in very, very bad condition. The day after that, she called me and told me that the man died. So I was like, what? He died? Yeah, she said yes, because he ate the contaminated chicken and he was not in good shape at all. Anyway, we investigated further, but we didn't investigate beyond the fact that we need to do a story and put it out there to find out what's wrong with the chicken in Grenada. Because that's how we got the story, guys. You didn't hear about it because we didn't get all the ducks in a row. We didn't get all the information. So no, we didn't bring the story out. We didn't talk about the story because we were still investigating this contaminated chicken. Only to find out, guys, today. But first, the individual died, as I mentioned. The individual died, and we didn't put out the story as yet because I said we didn't have all the evidence, all the information to put out as yet. Only to find out today, guys, a video was released on Facebook. The video detailed the person that we're going to look at. The video that actually detailed chronologically, it seems, in her version of the story, what transpired. And the young lady admitted to somehow poisoning the said individual. Immediately, we started to track back. We made calls to the individual initially to find out, does this story tie into the chicken story that he was talking about? Only to find out, based on her recollection, based on family recollection, that yes, it is in fact the same exact story. So the initial investigation on the contaminated chicken, it seems as it wasn't the reason why the gentleman died. We're going to get a chance to watch the video, and I want you guys to watch it with me and watch it with us, and let's just analyze what is presented here today. And I also know that there are many sides to this story. They are the family side, which we obtain a lot, tremendous amount of information on both sides, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're not going to give all the information because right now we are allowing investigation to proceed in some sense, right? So we're going to give them, the investigators, that. Before we watch the video, Samson, I want you to talk to us about what you witnessed today, the story that was published today, and what were your initial thoughts?
Well, Junior, like you, I first heard about the food poisoning issue and its relationship to KFC chicken. I saw a post about it on social media, and it wasn't alarming. to be honest, it wasn't alarming because they didn't say the person died, but they did say the person was ill and had to be hospitalized. And I don't think that's the first time in the history of Grenada that someone would have been hospitalized for eating food from a fast food outlet. And so I let the story go. Usually, I'm very keen to look into stories like that. But today I was sitting on my couch and I was going through WhatsApp statuses, and I saw from a status from Grenada, and when I looked at it, I immediately asked, what's this about? And when I saw the video, I was literally outraged at first with the accusations that was tabled in that video, but the journalist in me said immediately that there is another side to this story. As a matter of fact, there's another two sides to this story that needs to be heard before any judgment could have been passed. Of course, being a male in the situation, you don't want to touch it because, of course, it's a female laying the accusation, and I'm a male. But the journalist in me decided, well, I'm going to call a few people and find out what's this really about. And I listened to the video. There was a bit of emotion, and being someone who is also a part of the clergy, and would have been faced with situations or would have heard persons sharing their experiences such as these, I felt a little bit emotional for this young lady. So I grabbed my notebook and my pen and I began to jot down some notes and stuff like that, as to what could have happened in a situation like that, and how this young lady is feeling. So I got some more information from the same person in terms of who the person was, when the person died, when the person was buried, and stuff like that. In addition to that, I got more information relating to the fact that the gentleman was in intensive care unit at the General Hospital for some time with organ failure, and doctors were trying to find out why this obviously healthy gentleman was having organ failure. But Junior, one of the things I want to highlight, situations like these and cases like these, I know that as a community, we are quick to hand out judgment, and we're quick to say, well, yes, this gentleman would have, sexually molested the child, and so what he get to take, or he would have molested the child, and she was right in doing so. But I am one who believes in allowing good sense to prevail. That's one. And two, I'm also believing in allowing the course of justice to take its place. Now, we're not talking about a sister here who is of Grenadian nationality. We're talking about someone who is of a CARICOM nationality, right, and is living within our community. And as she said in the video, that she didn't know who else to go to or where else to go to and stuff like that. Now, that could quickly be debunked. I mean, the video itself could quickly be debunked. She, in the said video, said that she had a job at a local restaurant or hotel in the south of the island, and I want to assume that she would have had co-workers. She lived in a village, had to live in a village, and would have obviously had friends, not family, but would have had friends, co-workers.
Yeah. I
mean, the signs and symptoms of abuse maybe 5 years ago would not have been so bold or so out there, but due to the good work of the persons working in the Ministry of Social Services, Elaine, Henry, and I think Henry's her name, and so on. Domestic abuse situations in Grenada is no longer a shame thing. It's there is help. We have an entire unit within the RGPF, the Royal Grenada Police Force, dedicated right, to dealing with cases of this nature. So that's the first thing for me. There are options. There are options available to you if you felt that you were being abused, if you felt that you that whatever the situation is within at home was not livable or tenable. There were options.
Yeah. Let me just bring hold on 1 second. Let me just bring everyone up to speed again here. That the individual in question is a gentleman by the name of Clifford Marshall, and there's an active criminal investigation into his death as of today, published. The police have confirmed that there is an active criminal investigation into the death of Clifford Marshall. Marshall died in June and was buried in July of 2021. This confirmation came after a young lady declared that her name Sherry-Ann declared that on her social media page, claiming that she gave him poison to ingest. Right now, I want to take a look at the video, and again, this is not posing any blame because we have a lot of investigative information that I'm sure that the police and other law enforcement have as well. And this is not to basically demean or say that the story is invalid. I just want to provide some information to you guys so we could discuss it and make your assessment on it. Let's take a look at the first part of the video, and to bring everybody up to speed on what we're talking about. This is the first part of the video. I must also say that the video has some background noise, right? So let's watch it together, but bear in mind there is some background noise in the video. Take a look. Alright, I'm hearing that. Hold on one second. I'm hearing that you guys are not hearing the video. Let me rectify that. Stand by guys. Let me rectify the problem with the audio right now, because I'm hearing that you guys not hearing anything at all. So we're gonna rectify that. You're watching Ride Along Live. Are you guys hearing? Were you able to hear the audio, Samson?
No, I'm not hearing anything on my end.
You wasn't hearing anything on your end. Let me rectify that problem right now, guys. Stay tuned. Let me run a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll fix the audio and we'll go through and take a look at the video. Don't move, we'll be right back.
Welcome to TD Bank. Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.
Alright guys, welcome back. We're talking and analyzing this video. I'm going to try playing it again to make sure that the folks that's watching could hear it. Are you able to hear anything now?
Still nothing from my end.
You hearing anything now, Samson?
Still nothing from my end.
Still nothing on your end. I'm not sure. Okay, so we'll have to further work to rectify some of the problem there. Stay tuned with us. While I'm doing that, Ambrose, I want to talk about what you heard from the video, and if you could explain it a little bit from what you heard and from what you understood from the video.
So as I said, I had the opportunity of seeing the video in its entirety, and from what I've heard, the young lady seemed as if she was reasonably frustrated with whatever the situation situation at home was. She expressed that she didn't know where else to turn to. She sounded like she was between a rock and a hard place. And then she gave a couple of experiences as to what would have happened. So she woke up with the gentleman, with the deceased hands in her daughter's tights, and a couple other experiences that she had, including she coming from home from work and being told by the said child that daddy and I made naked. And there was of course the emotional side, the tears and stuff that went along with it. From what I gathered personally, one can conclude that this young lady would have been through some sort of trauma. The question as to if it's real trauma that she's relating to, or if it's just her pretending, we can't come to that conclusion. We have to leave that for the law enforcement personnel to determine the authenticity of the video. But she seemed, for me, very, very shaken up by what she was sharing. My question coming out of that video again is why do a video? Why not reach out to somebody? I mean, there must be somebody. I don't think that she's isolated because she's of a non-national status from the community that she lived in, or from even the gentleman's family. She did allude in the video that she would have spoken to his daughter, and she also alluded that his brother and friends and stuff were saying that he was a pedophile, etc., etc. But then the real question is, did she speak to any one of these people? Did she speak to a co-worker? Did she speak to a friend, a neighbor? And then it goes back to the point again. You live in a community. Can anybody in the community say, well, they heard disturbances coming from the marshal's residence, or they saw her one morning and she was displaying bruises, or whatever the case may be? All of those questions comes to one mind when you listen to the video and you hear the video, and then one have to ask themselves, the other question one would ask themselves is, what could have been done differently in this case? When you look at it from the community standpoint, is the person's the Ministry of Social Services? Is there more that could have been done? A lot of questions, and then you wanted to
here is the biggest question. I don't want to dance around the whole issue of the big question. The big question here is, listen, she alleged to have poisoned this individual, right? You mean no? What about the toxicology report? What about medical? What about this man going to the hospital? Couldn't anybody during the process of that treatment could have identified or even investigated before they buried the man to find out why he died so suddenly? Why could a healthy individual as he was before, right, just take a sudden downturn within that certain period of time and die so quickly? Didn't that strike a question in the medical, in the doctor, in the hospital, in wherever, to say it's quite possible that this guy is poisoned?
That was actually the very first question after I concluded the video. That's the very first thing that I actually did. I reached out to a medical practitioner that's a friend of mine that lives in another Caribbean island. I asked the question. I said, someone shows up at the hospital and says that they can't breathe because the family says that the gentleman would have contacted his daughter and say he couldn't breathe and stuff like that. And the family was indicating that they should have, that to the young lady, Miss Ambrose, that she should take him to the hospital and whatever the case may be. But for me, I can understand that someone shows up at the hospital with issues relating to breathing, and then in a matter of days or weeks, or I assume it's days, this person begins to have multiple organ failure.
Mr. Sampson, he wasn't only having breathing problem, Based on the information that we have, what we obtain, right? And what we saw, the evidence that we have here, right in my phone, is that that man was vomiting blood.
Oh.
Blood was coming out of his anus. He was coughing up a storm. Information and investigation into this, and I know people would talk about, I saw someone post something about, well, listen, she did the right thing. I would have helped him. I would have helped her mix the poison if it was me. We ain't getting there yet, guys. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about identifying that the man was in fact poisoned because he was buried, and no one came to the conclusion that this man was poisoned.
Right.
What happened to the autopsy? There was no investigation. There would have been no investigation if, in fact, a video that she didn't post, she didn't post that video. That video was found. That video was found and was posted. So she didn't just say, okay, you know what? I feel guilty now. I'm going to put this thing out there. No, that video was sitting in her phone. Someone found it. Someone posted it. What if they never posted it? The family would have never known, quite possibly, that someone poisoned him.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying because the gentleman went the information that I got, and of course, in situations like these, Junior, and even as a journalist, you get all kinds of conflicting stories and angles.
True.
And that's one of the reasons why we have to try not to be biased or one-sided. And that's what I'm trying to do, not be biased. But I don't understand how that this gentleman moved from the care of doctors, would have died, would have been transferred to the morgue, and then transferred to the funeral home. Because for persons who don't know, those are two different and completely separate activities that happen after someone dies. And would have moved to the point of being buried, and no one figured out that this gentleman was poisoned. I mean, just the fact that he was one day healthy and the other day sick, to the point that had to be hospitalized, is enough room for reasonable doubt and questions. And I think that in and of itself exposes a flaw in our healthcare system that desperately needs to be looked at. If this video, as you rightfully said, if this video was not found and released, the family would have gone on the notion that their loved one died of natural causes, or died of whatever food poisoning, which is the allegations prior to this video, or the allegations yesterday, and not being told the absolute truth as to what caused their relative to die. You understand? And then when we begin to look at poison and poisonous substances, we realize that the one don't just fall down and dead from being poisoned just like that. You know, this had to be a premeditated something, right? Thought would have had to gone into it. The poison would have had to been purchased if that's the case, and would have had the method in terms of which the poison was given to the person is another thought process. So with the video and the emotions that Ms. Ambrose was exuding in the video, comparing that to the evidence in terms of this man was being poisoned, as she said, brings into the whole question of you know what she said in the video and the authenticity of what was said in the video. You understand?
Right. Bing 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 bing. Ding 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 ding.
Because
we authenticate the information that was said, and I want to take this thing slow because a lot of questions finally started to emerge. Now, I firmly believe, and all you guys know about me, when I come on here, I put people in the hall of shame quickly, right? But there is more. There is more that need to be looked at, because here is one thing I saw while combing through all of this information. On this person's phone, there has been a long-term search pattern of how to poison someone slowly, without they even knowing, without the smell and without their tasting it, right? I don't want to give out too much information now. Again, we're still gathering, but this shows me that it was something that was premeditated and planned over a period of time,
Mhm.
right? And following all of that, we have evidence to show that was presented that this man was just there and he was literally dying, and the said individual was just not even taking him to but she knew what he was, and she was telling certain people some other things, and he was literally dying. So there was nothing on her part to help the situation. Now, again, people would say that the allegations are that he has been molesting her young daughter. We cannot verify because we don't have the information to speak to that.
Right.
But even that is the case, my friends, is that where the community is? Is that where we at right now? Is that where we at right at this point in time? Where we are? I mean, it was so covertly done. Let me jump to the phone lines because I think I'm saying too much. I don't want to give out too much information.
But Junior, I listen. As I said, I'm also a part of the religious community,
right?
And I've been a part of child advocacy since my teenage days with people like Linda Strake and in GNCRC, and I can tell you that based on my training or based on my experience in cases like these, I am still baffled as to how the alleged abused child did not speak to anybody else but the mother. Didn't speak to a teacher, didn't speak to a friend in the school, because this child has to be going to school. I mean, the child is 3 years old. And I am a father, and I know that children around these ages, they talk. I have a 2-year-old in my house that my wife and I literally can't get her to hush, children speak. And that's another side to the story. I mean, how is it that this child did not, if the child because she said in the video the child said to her X, Y, and Z. So I'm wondering, and I'm not laying blame on the young lady or saying that she was not abused. I'm just saying that how is it that this child did not say the very same thing to other people in the community, in the school, if the child was a part of a school? Then there's another side to this story, and over the years, this is something that I've heard a lot in terms of Antigua and Montserrat, where I am, is that men in the Caribbean usually tend to travel to these countries, Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, in search of brides. And usually, in some cases, I've had to deal with this as early part of this year, where a gentleman went to get a wife, brought the wife back to the country, and will provide all the necessities for her. But the young lady somewhat was not comfortable or happy, and decided that she wanted to end the relationship and go on. And then we heard conversations of abuse, and that came up, and of course, had to go in and talk to the family and stuff like that. So that's another side to the story that I personally gathered. Maybe the young lady, as she said, this gentleman was 54, 55, thereabout, and would have maybe wanted to come out of the relationship and move on. I mean, that's another side. So there are different sides to the story. I think definitely something for us to allow the law to take its full the full course of the law to deal with the situation. But the question really and truly is, was this a willful act, or was this an act in response to hurt? Was this an act in response to, I'm not happy in a situation, I want to get out, I don't know how to get out? Because basically that's what I gathered. I'm in a situation, I want to get out of the situation, I do not know how to get out of the situation, so I had no other choice but to give this gentleman poison.
Yeah. Let's jump to the phone line, 718-701-5722. I want you guys to speak. Because really wanted to just go through the video, look through the video together, but we're having some audio issues with the video. So I want you guys to call us up, 718-701-5720. Let us talk about this, guys. Let us conversate. We're speaking here about a video that was released earlier today where this young lady, I really hope that I could have gotten that audio to play, because it is something that I wanted you guys to watch with me. This young lady you're seeing on camera right here, she has confessed in a video released on Facebook today that she poisoned her boyfriend, right? And she made that claim on a video that was released today. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Fukalai, where are you calling us from? Okay, caller from Grenada. Stand by. Samson, are you hearing the caller?
No, I'm not hearing.
You're not hearing the caller. Caller, stand by. I'm having all kind of audio problem today, guys. Stand by. I'm going to resolve this issue right here. Grenada, don't move. Let me fix the problem. We have a whole set of calls on hold. Caller from Grenada. Caller, go speak again.
Still
Right.
nothing from my end.
Right. Go ahead, caller. Speak a little louder if you could. Right.
No audio, Junior.
Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.
Feeling hungry, grab a snack. Caribbean food delight. Jamaican patties, light and flaky. Caribbean food delight. Taste the difference. Caribbean food delight. Grab a patty,
Stand by, stand by, stand by. All right, you guys hear me now? You hear me now?
I'm hearing
Samson, are you hearing me?
you. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
All right. Oh,
I'm
all right.
hearing you.
All right. Cool, guys. Sorry about that. We had some audio problem here, and we're really trying to resolve it. And we want to get your calls, but we have to fix the phone line. So just stay with us. Let me fix this. Let me take another commercial break. We're going to bring in Pancho shortly to talk about it. Stand by, guys. Don't move. Stand by, caller.
Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.
Feeling hungry. Feeling hungry, grab a snack. Caribbean food delight. Jamaican patties, light and flaky. Caribbean food delight. Taste the difference. Caribbean food delight. Grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Quick and easy, grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Oh yeah.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Yeah. All right. All right. I think we're back, guys. I apologize for this audio problem that we've been having, guys. I'm not sure why we that problem came up, but my audio just wasn't going through for some reason. Samson, could you hear me now? Okay. All right. All right. All right. No one can hear me. Samson, you can't hear me, right? Samson,
Yeah, I'm
you can
hearing
hear
you.
me? You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. So I guess it's back now. Again, guys, we apologize. We had some problems with our audio system here in the ride. As a result, no one could have gotten through with the phone lines, and nothing was going out. Let me see if we could resolve our phone line issue again. If you guys want to call back in, let's have this conversation. 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. I think we're back. If you guys are hearing me now, give me a thumbs up. All right, caller, you there? Okay, all right. Let me make sure that everyone could hear you outside there now. All right, Samson, could you hear the caller?
I'm not hearing the caller, no.
Caller, go right ahead and speak. Yeah, you're not hearing her at all?
No.
Wow, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. As Wendy said, like somebody poisoned their life. All right, guys, let me try and rectify the problem. Yeah, they just take a turn. They just take a turn down south. So I have to fix the problem because I want to get people's views on this. I want to open up the phone line and get people speaking on this. So let me see if I could punch a couple buttons here to make it happen. Stand by. Don't move. Yeah. Hold on. Samson, are you hearing the music in the background?
No, I'm only hearing you. I'm not hearing anything else.
You're just hearing me.
Just you.
That's funny. Hold on a second. That sounds fire.
All right.
Okay,
Check. Hey?
You hear the music?
You hear the music now?
Yes.
Alright, okay, alright. Wow. Alright, caller, try again. Okay, the caller hung up. I think the call, if anyone was to call in now, they'd be able to hear. Alright, let's try this again. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hi. Could you hear the caller now, Samson?
Yes.
Alright, caller. I apologize, guys. Caller, go right ahead. Where are you calling us from?
Oh, I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, go right ahead.
All right. First, my first question is, when the gentleman was came into the hospital with the symptoms, I'm going to start the blaming game from right here. Because whatever symptoms he was experiencing, and in order to be admitted at the hospital, he had to be seen by a doctor.
Right.
Okay. As time went along, he was started to experience different symptoms.
Right.
So, my thing is the doctors, the professionals. Because if you say you're a doctor, you're there to help the sick, you're going to start every process to see what is the root cause of starting from like a minor to escalate to where it's at. Did they did any poisoning test? I mean, what is it they was treating him for? What sort of medication they was giving to him? And in order for him to become a dead body, to be placed in a morgue and taken to a funeral home, being buried, what is it you could have said that, okay, well, you had seen him for so-and-so case, what is it you could have given to the family members, okay, well, he will deal with that situation, but then from a strong, healthy man to be in that position, vomiting in his anus, that you must, if the profession in that area, you must have a second to say, you know what, let me run so and so certain tests. I mean, we already have been blaming the health system, but the doctors had failed point blank from day one. If
Okay.
they had done the right thing, then most likely they would do an investigation, send it out to the law enforcement. Start with the investigation. Maybe we would have had a confession by the time, instead of with just having the confession with a lie, with a post. That should have been dealt with long before we have to start dealing with that because somebody released the post. So the doctors, I'm going to blame the doctors. The health system failed. They failed terribly.
Right. Okay. Thank
That's
you, caller, for your input on this. Got another call. Caller, where you calling us from?
Hey, Junior, good evening. I'm calling from Grenada.
Yeah, caller, go right
Um,
ahead.
Junior, I'm not in agreement with your guest when he asked the question that he find it strange that the child didn't tell anybody else,
Right.
what was happening to her. I mean, children don't children don't say certain things like that. Those are very hurting feelings for a child, something that the child wasn't expecting. So I'm not in agreement with him when he make that statement that his child they can get a touch. His child is different, or his children are different from other child and from other children.
Right.
But Junior, to tell you the honest truth, I don't really care too much about they finding out much about this guy death. My thing is that should be left up to the police. And whatever this young lady did is because she was hurt.
Right.
And people are saying and asking all kind of questions. Oh, why didn't she speak up before? Junior, listen. To tell people certain things in this small island, Junior, it ain't easy,
Mm-hmm.
I normally do my medical test, my medical when I travel. For the first time, I did my medical here a few weeks ago. Junior, it's unbelievable what I was told. For the people who got back the results and were positive of whatever, when they go to the hospital to collect their medication, the kind of stigma that are being placed on them. So people have to be careful. It's not something, these things are not easy to tell people.
Right.
And people need to understand that because we always hear people would say, if it was me, is what I didn't do, what I would not have done to him. And Junior, the guy got what he deserved. Maybe she just now need to show Grenadian women how to get it done.
Okay. Point taken, caller.
There's finally something to get rid of these pedophiles, man. Come on. These guys are destroying children's life. Thank you, Junior. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're taking your calls on this topic, very topical issue, topical news item, topical
Yeah.
story that broke on this media today. Go right ahead, Samson.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to the caller, and I had the opportunity of reading some of the comments during the audio issue break that we had. Let me just say that I'm not taking any sides, and maybe I'm soft on the issue because I'm trying not to be biased. Now, in terms of the child, the young lady in the video verbatimly said that the child told her. So it means that the child is speaking, right? And usually when things like that happen to a child, the child speaks out. And the question I'm asking is, I ask a question, I didn't make up an announcement, is that why didn't this child say something maybe at the school or in the community or some friend? We have to understand. If this young lady was abused and her daughter was abused because it's still an allegation, I would not know how she felt in that situation. And if this is how she felt was the best course of action at the time, then it's enough for the law enforcement to deal with the matter, right? If I am the father of daughters and if anybody touches my child, it's a whole different ball game. Let's be honest and frank, right? An individual, as I said earlier, clearly this lady been through some trauma. We don't know the level of the trauma, the extent of the trauma, so we cannot cast aspersions based on what we see in the video.
Right.
We have to wait for law enforcement to make a declaration based on their investigation into the matter. But as it stands now, and based on what we see, in terms of this video, and I mean, what me and you would have gathered in terms of our own investigation, clearly that there are two different sides to the story, and that is the reason why, to your guest, that we're not saying, oh, this man abused the child, and yes, he get what he deserved, or she trying to get out of a situation and decide, well, this is what she's going to do. We cannot. I mean, maybe later when the police makes the pronouncement, we can come back and have a discussion on that, right? But for now, we have to be careful as media personnel, the information that we release out there for persons, because people are already forming their own conclusion on the matter, and we don't want to add fuel to whatever fire that they're trying to light. So I am trying my best to remain unbiased in the situation. As I say, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I could possibly imagine how this young lady feel if in truth that the allegations that's made against Mr. Marshall are in fact true, or if this young lady, in terms of trying to get out of a situation, decides, well, maybe this is the course of action, then the law will deal with her. But then we have to understand on both sides of the field, people are hurting. The Marshall family lost a loved one. They are hurting. And she seems to be aggrieved over whatever it is that she alleged to have done in the video. So people are hurting, and you don't want a situation where we provoke this into something bigger.
Right. Point taken. Let's take this call on the line. Call, are you live? Where are you calling us from?
I'm from Grenada, once again.
From Grenada. Go right ahead.
Yes. So, what I wanted to add, when I was, we were disconnected based on the audio, is that it is unfair, and your journalists just confer it, that at this point, we are not in any position. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening. Listen to me on the phone lines,
yes,
not on the live.
We're not in any position to determine the status, what caused the young lady to do it, or whatever. But I can assure you that one of the things that I did not like what he said was that she had options. She had people to talk to. It is not that an easy situation. Mm-hmm. And I think that is something that we have to get across in Grenada when it comes to abuse of any form.
Right.
I am thankful that I did not get to commit the act, because I can tell you, as I said before, I was in an abusive marriage. One morning, after a good night of abuse, I got up and I made a mug of poisoned tea to feed to my entire family and me. Mm-hmm. At that point, reasoning or something stepped in, and I poured it down the sink, only to get another dose of cuttass because I made them late for going to work and going to school. I never told anybody this thing until about 4 or 5 years after.
Wow.
You understand me? So being in an abusive relationship, dealing with having your children being abused, is something very traumatizing, and everybody reacts differently. Another point, I also feel empathetic with the person and go against what your journalist said of her being her nationality. Don't feel because of her nationality she was marginalized. You're probably not marginalized. I am also of not the nationality of a Grenadian. And I know of many situations where I were involved, and because I was not a Grenadian, there were so many slurs by the so-called friends or people around me. Mm-hmm. You understand me? So even though they may speak with you, they may talk with you, the way that they treat you and the slurs and the comment they make based on your nationality, you understand me? Mm-hmm. It also becomes something that you're not comfortable about. So these kind of situations are very tricky.
Yes.
I also would want to believe, based on her nationality or where she come from, these influence would also, kind of influence how she does something, how she may have thought, because it may be something that is prominent where, or the way that people do things. So we have a lot to take in, and it's unfair for us to say that she had options. We just hope. And what struck me more also is because recently where all these abuse were coming out, mm-hmm. and you guys were coming on so much on the men that were doing it, mm-hmm. and how they could do that, and how it's a hard thing to deal with, Junior. This human being that we are is not a one-way street.
Right.
There's so many different wiring and things that can cause us. Another thing, quickly, the hospital. I'm happy that something like that would have shown up to show up the healthcare system in our country. It's not the building alone, you know. It's the ethics and the mannerism, and also the amount of doctors towards patient care. Recently, I was misdiagnosed, and to the point where I spent so much money and I was in a mental state of panic. And when I went to a private doctor, after I felt that I was always going to a private doctor, but one day I collapsed and went to the hospital, and I was put on to a specialist. So I was going to that so-called specialist, but I was not comfortable with what I was investigating on my own based on what he was telling me and how he was treating me. So I went to a private doctor, only to find out that absolutely nothing that he was treating me for was necessary. So we understand what is happening. When you go to the public hospital, most of the times there's some good there's some good doctors, but most of the time you go, these doctors greet you with a prescription paper. As soon as you start to talk, they give you a broad-based something to calm down, whatever. No proper investigation is being done.
Right.
That is one of the things we really need to blow up about.
Yeah, well,
Have a great night.
Thank you, Carla. I think what this exposes is the lack of, or the fact that the hospital didn't catch this, right? That went through, and no one, up until the guy was buried, even investigated this guy for possibly being poisoned. That is my problem, right? Caller, live, go right ahead. Where are you calling us from? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, caller, you live. Go right ahead. Listen to us on the phone lines, not on the live.
Okay.
Yeah, turn down the background a little bit. Turn down the broadcast a little bit, and listen to me on the phone lines.
Oh, just go ahead. Okay,
yeah, just go ahead. Just listen to me on the phone. Listen to me on the phone, not on the live, because there's a delay. Just listen to me on the phone. Go ahead.
All right. No problem. I want to talk about what the guy was saying earlier. I joined the live with my mom, and about how the child, even though the child was talking, that she didn't say anything to anyone. When you're in like that kind of family, and especially at that young age, most of the times you don't really understand what's happening, and it's not easy to talk to other people outside of the family. So I find this might sound harsh, but I find it a little bit insensitive to the situation. I mean, I honestly think the lady did go a little far with doing what she did, but I find it a little insensitive to the situation, saying that even though the child was talking, why she didn't say anyone. When you're in such a family, and if what the lady said is correct, her boyfriend was allegedly threatening to kill her if she told anyone. So when you're in that kind of family, of course that boyfriend most likely wouldn't have said that in a very calm voice or anything. So when you're in that kind of family and you're seeing that going on around you, and you already as confused as you are, you most likely wouldn't talk to other people about it. And I could say for myself, because I have not been through that kind of situation, but I've been through a situation with an abusive family, and I know that I didn't want to talk about it. So I can't understand where this child come from.
Right.
And I think that's a bit insensitive, saying that even though the child could talk, why she didn't say anything. And I always had a problem with any time you see these kind of news stories come out and people always saying why the child didn't say anything.
Right. Yeah, we see that a lot. We see that a lot. And I don't like to. I don't like to interrogate kids, because I always think that they're innocent. I always think that they are that age and they are innocent. So I don't like to interrogate. I don't. Hello.
Junior, if I may.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I wanted to respond to 2 points. The one that the previous caller before the last caller made in terms of non-national. That's actually the point I was making. The point I was making is that you within the CARICOM basin, there's something that I like to call racism by nationality. we tend to get very territorial with our various islands, and I've experienced it. Having lived outside of Grenada, you don't get certain opportunities. You get the, you know, the tongue lashing sometimes, or you go back where you come from, those kinds of stuff. And that's why I said this young lady could have felt alone, because of course she had no family, as she said in the video, that she had no family around. She didn't know to call her mother, whatever the case may be. And that is something that I believe that we need to deal with urgently from a national level. If we are going to talk about OECS and free movement and CARICOM, movement of skills nationals and so on, we need to provide that opportunity for persons who are coming in to feel welcome and feel comfortable. And in events like these, where they feel, because as I said previously, marriages happen within these Caribbean islands. You know, you have people going to different islands and meet people, they come back, they're married, move to Grenada, whatever the case may be. You want them to feel comfortably enough to come forward and to say, well, this is what I'm faced with, or this is what I'm going through, etc., etc. Yeah. Now, I want to address the point of that the caller made about the child and child speaking out. Miss Ambrose in her video said several times that the child would have said to her, "Mommy, you know, this happened, mommy, this happened, mommy, this happened," which gives me helps me to conclude that the child was aware that whatever it is that was happening was not normal, was not something that should happen, and the child reported that to mommy, or probably the child just reported it because it happened. Right? Children tend to do that, and of course, no one saying the child should be interrogated. I am totally against that. Right? But you find that children speak up, and they say things often, right? So I'll leave that there, because that seems to be very controversial. But at the same time, people, we have to understand from a different standpoint that cultural dynamics is another very important contributing factor, maybe in the decision that Ambrose took, and Ambrose is the girl in the video, because in Guyana, suicides are rampant, domestic violence is rampant. It's you hear it on the news often, and women in trying to get out of these situations, these are the kinds of avenues that they resort to. It's a little bit different maybe in our culture, Grenadian culture, but in Guyana, this is the kind of situations that they resort to. The question now is, and the question that remains is, what she's saying in the video factual? Or is it a situation where she needs to get out of the relationship and was looking for an avenue to get out of the relationship? We don't know. What we can do is to wait on the official word of the investigative team from the RGPF to say, well, this is the case. These are the charges that will be laid against her. And the other thought that I have is that this, of course, exposes a huge gap in terms of medical services on the island. Because there you have a gentleman who yesterday was a healthy man, today is having breathing complications. 3 days later, he's having organ failure, and we just allow him to go from the ward to the morgue to the funeral home, and no one said, no, this is a bit fishy, and we need to investigate it. The big question on my mind, Junior, is, has this happened to somebody else? And we don't know. You know, these are the questions that come up. And
let's jump on the phone. I have a caller here that's calling from Grenada. Debbie, and hold for a quick second. Stand by. Caller, you hear me?
Yes.
Caller, go right ahead. Ambrose, you hearing the caller?
Yes.
Okay, caller, go right ahead.
Samson.
Yeah, Junior.
Samson, sorry.
Junior, your audio have a virus, and you need to find out what kind. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. To this, the whole show that's going on. Number one, the guy, it was a slow poisoning, right? It wasn't like instantly, was it?
Well, listen, I cannot release the information that we have on there right now as it relates to that. But the fact is that he was poisoned. Right. Whether how fast or slow, but he died.
Okay, all right. Because if like she says he was interfering with the daughter, whatever. But when the daughter said that to you, why didn't you take the daughter to the doctor and report it to the police?
That's the point.
If it's a quick poison instantaneously, you could say, okay, she gone psycho. If it was a slow poisoning, it takes time It takes time to plan what you're going to do. And then again, there is it when he wasn't he not feeling sick, or certain days he wasn't feeling like himself to have himself checked out. Then again, we have the hospital. Isn't it the responsibility of the doctor and the nurses in his care? Like a rape victim come in, a victim came in with gunshot wound, or chopped all over his body. Isn't it their responsibility to report that things to the police?
Yes.
To have that investigated. Why wait till a video came out to find out this is what happened to that guy? He has family too, regardless to what. He has family too. And there is a law. It's the responsibility of the medical system to also to inform the people in authority what happened. And if that video didn't came out, that was the end of it, because Caribbean people are really how things go on over there. So I don't know, but there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I wish that all questions could be answered in the best possible way.
Well,
Thank you.
we trying to get all the information in. We got a caller on the WhatsApp. Call on the WhatsApp. Go right ahead.
Grenada?
Go ahead. Yes.
Yes. When the journalist asked the question, if the child didn't say anything else to like a teacher or something, he was right, because I had a friend who was abusing by her boyfriend. And the child went to school, the child was crying, the child wasn't eating. When the teacher asked the child, what is the problem? She said, Mommy, Daddy has mommy neck with a cutlass. And they had to call both parents in. So he's right. So we two callers were bashing him about, and the statement I see people making is very absurd. Because he's right. That is my information I just want to share.
Okay, thank you, caller. You see, the thing about it is, right, what we try to always maintain is not to second guess the children, because believe it or not, we broke so many stories here, Samson, on the program, where, especially during this COVID time, where we have fathers that are molesting. There's a case of incest that we broke the other day, and a lot of people coming at the girl, the young lady, saying that, well, she's probably saying something about her father because she's trying to disobey, and her father trying to put her back in line, and then she make these accusations. So in order to get people to come out and speak and get people, and we need to listen to their stories. So I don't want to make it seem like we're bashing the young lady for the young girl, for that matter. She's only 5 years old, for coming out and speak. More or less, there need to be ways to investigate and help people in these situations, and let it make it easy for people to come out and share their story and properly investigate their story and go forward with the story. My biggest takeaway and alarm about this whole thing here is this man died, and it could have been somebody else that somebody poisoned just innocently, and nobody caught it. Nobody caught it. The man dead and buried, and nobody caught it. That is the most shocking thing for me as it relates to the story. Nobody caught the fact that that man was poisoned. And if that video never came out, nobody would know about it. We would not have been talking about this at all. We'd have think that a man died of KFC poisoning. That's what I thought.
But even with that, when I was speaking to the medical practitioner earlier, they said to me, sometimes based on the poison, you can tell, because the person either will be passing through whichever outlet in their body, substances that are varying in color. Even sometimes when you go inside of their bodies surgically, and you look, you would see that either there is liver damage or whatever the case may be. So I'm still astonished as to what poison that could have done this, and it has gone totally undetected. And as I mentioned earlier, this gentleman went from the ward, being a corpse on the ward, to the morgue, then to the funeral home, and nobody between these three agencies, these three bodies, these function departments recognize that there is more in the mortar than the pestle. It's literally outrageous.
Yeah. Sheba said that nobody's second guessing the child. She said she saw. So if she saw, why she allowed that to continue with her child. Shevon Benjamin is saying that she is to be blamed.
But Junior, I want to make a point here. I want to make a point. For this point, I make no apologies. We have a culture in Grenada that I very much dislike. Anytime a young lady is reported missing, the first comment you hear, she gone machine. Anytime a young woman comes forward and says she's been abused, jail, not even courthouse, it's skipping that part, straight to jail for the gentleman. I'm not saying that the gentleman in this case did not abuse. I'm saying that we are jumping to conclusions and we are sentenced to become judge, jury, sentenced, all of the facts before we make an assumption. I said that if Betty was in fact using with an allegation, there are some things that could be considered. She lives in a community, she was working, she said that in the video, she has a child, the child has to be going to school. All of these things I'm sure the police is going to look into when they're doing their investigation. Because she said he held a cutlass against her, she said he raised his hands at her. I don't think that in a situation like that nobody, absolutely nobody, didn't hear anything or see anything or observe anything out of the ordinary. I mean, come on.
Yeah, last video. Sometimes people are see things and they don't say nothing. Sometimes people are see things and we don't hear nothing. People just keep themselves quiet. And in situations like that, we've seen a lot of instances where things like that come up. People see what's going on. People in the neighborhood know what's going on, but nobody reports it. That is the sad thing. That's the bad thing about our culture.
And I'm saying that we are equally responsible. If this young lady was in fact being abused and nobody from the community or nobody co-worker that observed something, said anything, then we all have a part to play in it. And I think that community spirit, we lack that. But when it comes to someone being accused of something, just recently we had the gentleman from St. David's, and people were outraged about it. Yes, of course he was brought to court and all of that, and charges were laid against him. But before that happened, when the news first was broke, and he was even broke right here and right along, people were already sentencing this man to death. I'm figuratively. And sometimes we need to step back as a community and look in, because then that gives us the opportunity to see where we have gone wrong and how we can correct these wrongs, that other people in the future do not fall victim to the same fate. And that's the point I really want to leave tonight, that this young lady, she's Ghanaian, she's not Grenadian, she was allegedly abused. Her daughter was sexually molested. Let us look into see where we went wrong and how we as a community, as Grenada, could fix these issues so that someone else down the road will not fall victim to the same level of abuse.
Got you. Caller, you live? Where are you calling us from?
Hello, yes, I'm calling from Grenada. I know this has been mentioned already, but I'm just a bit concerned.
Right.
That persons keep saying that the 3-year-old should have spoken to other people. I am saying that every child is different. And one of the callers mentioned a particular instance where a 3-year-old spoke. What I would like to also know, your guest, does he have a background in education? Does he have a background in statistics in terms of children reporting these incidents and not reporting these incidents? Because I find some blanket statements are being made.
Right.
And I am wondering if the people who are making them have an educational background. Have they been teachers? Have they ever been caregivers? Have they ever dealt with children under 5?
Right, but
behavior psychology.
Right, so
in terms of children under 5.
What
I'm saying is that.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that a child may or may not discuss that kind of thing widely. They may discuss it with their parents. Sometimes they may not. Sometimes you have to actually pull it out of them. Sometimes you have older children who, as I am saying, how do I say this? My daughter had an incident, and she was past 10 years old, and I was only aware of the incident when we had a confrontation, so to speak, for want of a better word, and she wrote something on piece of paper, and I quickly looked at it, and that is how eventually I was able to pull it out. And I mean, she and I have a normal relationship, and it was only when she wrote that I was able to find out about a particular thing, So I'm saying persons are saying things, but many times these things don't come from a basis of knowing, the behavior and what is the expected behavior, and coming from a early childhood perspective.
Right. Okay. Caller, thank you so much. We appreciate your input as we analyze and look at this video. Again, the idea was just to look at the video. I know there are a lot of reaction. There are also information that we're not releasing here today because we have not, we are still working with the family. We're in contact with the family on both sides. And there are information that I'm trying very, very hard not to release in this program here today because we are still gathering this information. So the idea, bringing my friend Samson on the program here today, is just to look at the video and react to this in real time. Everyone will have their opinion on it. I really wanted to get your guys' opinion, your feedback on it as well. I think it's important that we ventilate on issues like this. Look at it and see what went wrong. See what we could do better. Because that is how we correct ourselves. When we look at situation, talk about it, and we analyze it. And that's what was the plan today. But we got another call on the line. Caller, go right ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Junior, I'm there listening to the program.
Yes.
And I heard people having different comments about the hospital that maybe, they should check with what is going on with the gentleman, what was going on with the gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I'm a bit concerned about in the hospital is that there are a lot of elderly in the hospital who tend to be bathing the patients, observing things happening to the patients, and the nurses, not the doctors, does not know.
Right.
And I'm saying that to you from experience, because recently I had to go and make a report about that happening. And when I saw what went on with that specific patient, and I wanted to go behind the curtain when they were bathing the patient, the orderly told me that I can't come there. And I insist that I'm going to stay right there to see, because that's my patient.
Right, I see.
And the nurse heard me making a noise, came out about it. The nurse came down there, and the nurse said that she wasn't aware that the patient had all the bed sores and all other challenges that they were. So that's one of the things that the hospital has to look into. So I am not surprised that the nurse nor the doctor don't know, because orderlies are pretending they are doctors. Of course, I went upstairs and I reported it.
Yes.
And I hope they would pay heed to that, because I'm sure a lot more is happening and people don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much, caller. 718-701-5720. We're looking at analyzing at this video now. After the program, because yes, yeah. After this program, guys, we're gonna put the link, the video, because we were unable to get the audio here. We're gonna put the video on our YouTube page. I want you guys to go over there and take a look at it. If you haven't looked at it as yet in its entirety, we're talking about this young lady who confessed to this to murder, it seems, on a video that was released earlier today. We got information that she's being investigated, and that's after the fact that the young man would have already been buried. All right, let's jump back to the phone lines. Caller, you live?
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
What's going on?
I'm good.
So listen, Junior, I'm no saint, so I'm not coming here to judge the young lady, and I'm not coming here to judge the man, because none of us knew what happened, right?
Right.
Based on her video I looked at today in its entirety, as a mother, I was concerned that she said she saw these things happening, and stayed with this man and allowed it to happen to a child. Because if it was me, I would have killed him too. If what she's saying is true. Secondly, the concern I had is if he was indeed poisoned and he died as a result of poisoning, like nobody detected that.
That is what I'm saying.
A few people today.
Yeah.
So I asked a few people today. Is it mandatory for an autopsy to be done once somebody dies? And a police officer said to me, no. If it's a sudden death or something of that sort, it's not done. It's only done when it's a case of somebody being killed or they suspect it's an unnatural death or a court orders it. So my question is, how many other people may have died like that home and an autopsy wasn't done and we just thought it was a natural death because they were probably sick before?
Yes.
We looked at it as probably just somebody vomiting, they just taken sick and died. Right? So I think the bigger, other than the fact that she said she did it, if she didn't say she did it, nobody would have been talking about it today. Right?
Yes.
So it begs the bigger question, like, is it time that we start making sure that an autopsy after someone dies is no mandatory and not done based on someone's discretion or someone's feeling?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm not judging her, I'm not judging him. I don't know what happened.
Right.
Right? And if he did it, then God deal with his soul. If she's lying, then she too will get what she deserves at the end of the day. But as a parent, I'm very, very angry by what she said, and then she still stayed and allowed that shit happen to her kid. But I think the bigger question is, if he was poisoned, like that was allowed to happen, and he died, and he was buried, and nobody even knew. If she didn't speak out, we wouldn't have known.
That is, Siobhan, that is one of the main takeaway of this conversation.
Yes, agreed.
The fact that nobody knew. So what are they going to do? Exhume him now and take out hair follicles?
So I asked that question as well. Like, are they going to exhume his body to do an autopsy now to determine if he died as a result of poisoning? And then I heard that too is not a long process because they need to get permission from the family and another agency and from so and a whole bunch along. So we're not even sure if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So everybody else, I'm waiting to hear the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate your point on this.
Junior, just piggybacking on what my former colleagues said, that's one of the very first things that I sought to find out. If an autopsy is mandatory in situations like these, and indeed I was told no. Now, from what I understand is if a patient died, there are two wards in the general hospital. There's surgical and then there's the other ward. If a patient dies, the morticians goes based on the information that the doctor puts in their chat. So if the doctor says that this person died based on food poisoning or whatever the case may be, that does that. There's no autopsy that happens after that unless it is a situation where they figure some kind of foul play has actually happened. So that's why I said sometimes we need to step back as a society and look into see how we can correct these problems from further happening in the future.
We got a caller on the line again. Caller, you live? Go right ahead. Okay, all right. I'll call you back. Okay, cool. Yeah. My homeboy. Yeah, and you're right. You are right about that. The takeaway from this is that here we have a situation where somebody died, and if we didn't have that video that was released today, nobody would have think that it was poisoning. And it's by some kind of fate that the family now have some closure to what happened 3-4 months ago, as to the cause of his death. Caller, you live with us from?
Hey, Junior.
Hey.
Good evening. I'm calling back again. Yeah.
So
if that is the situation, and they could not have detected what the guy died from, just a little slight change in the story, Junior, is it possible that a lot of people in Grenada could have also died from COVID?
Good question.
Yeah, and you're right. We don't know. But here's what. Now, what could be done or what should be done in her situation? Now they have her under investigation. They probably would arrest her. What would be her charge now? And could she plead self-defense if she could verify that the child was in fact and indeed molested by this man? If where does the case go from here? I think we need a lawyer now to
Definitely, because that's another part of it that I was looking at. Traditionally, in cases like these, people get charged with non-capital murder, but it is. Gina, I'm not hearing you.
Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.
check. All right, guys. I apologize, guys. I apologize for all of our audio problems here today. We'll make sure that we get this thing rectified. I don't know what bug that passed in this car. And
Is it me, Junior?
Cool ride. I don't know what bug passed here, but I promise you, I'm gonna spend some time and fix it. I'll make sure that it don't happen again. So we apologize. Let's close it up.
On the program, so I wonder if it's me that brings something.
Nah, don't worry about it. Let's close up quick before we have some more problems again. Go ahead. Let's close off. It's time for you to run me over time already.
Yeah. Well, my final closing remarks is, and I want to reiterate two very important points. We need to have a cultural shift. Cultural shift. When situations like these happen, to me, they exposes the flaws and the to-do areas in our community that we need to look at, and how best we can solve these issues that in the future other people don't fall victims to the same fate. We have a family here that's still in mourning because this gentleman was buried on July 21st, not even the 21st of August as yet. And we have family in mourning, and of course we want to ensure that justice has been served in the matter if the allegations made against them is true. My final point is parents, if you know that your children are victims of abuse in any way, form, or fashion, please speak up. Do not sit on the information. Do not hide the information. Speak up. Say something. And for the callers who have asked what are my credentials, I did study. I did study to be a certain position in the religious community, so I do have a little bit of experience in dealing with families and counseling situations and stuff like that. So I am not speaking blanketly or empty-headed. I understand situations like these, and I don't know it all, but at least I can offer some sort of advice.
All right, that's right. Let's take the last call, and then I'll wrap up, and then we out of here. Caller, go right ahead. You're the final caller for today.
Good night, Junior. I think all your audio problems is happening because of your guest, man. But I just wanted to. The guest said two things, which I strongly disagree with what he said. He's saying that children normally talk out, which is false. If you do research, the children normally keep these things a secret. They will only talk to people who they feel comfortable with. Maybe a parent, maybe a sibling. I had an instance where something happened like that, where some children were very close to me and they only spoke to me.
Right.
And they didn't speak to the parents. And I was the one that had to go and tell the parents about what this individual did. You understand? And the next thing that he said that I disagree with, I mean, I don't want to make it about him, but, people will hear that something is going on, and most times people will not hear if they've been abused. Some abusers are discreet about, they might tell the person, don't scream, don't make noise, so you will never know that something is going on with them.
Right.
Not every time that people are going to hear somebody getting leaks or things breaking in the house and all that stuff. There's also with regards to the hospitals and this whole disconnect with the person being buried and nobody knowing. You see that happening all the time down here and in a few other places too. But you also see that happening in government too. A lot of things happening in government. Just take the potholes in the road, for example. Who's telling the relevant authority to fix this? The telephone line is down, or this needs fixing. There's a disconnect. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, thank you, caller. We appreciate your input. Guys, we're gonna end it here. We're gonna end it here, and hopefully within the week again we have Pancho, he's like our resident psychologist. He just couldn't make it on the program here today, but he always have very insightful information as it relates to things like these. And it would have been good to have his perspective as well, but we didn't. But we will have him on in an upcoming program to analyze this even further. To my guest, Mr. Dwight Sampson from Montserrat, thank you so much, sir. And we will keep in touch. Big up yourself. We'll keep in touch, my brother. All right, guys. This is our audio glitchy program today. I apologize. I apologize, but hey, we made it to the end. We made it to the end. We gotta tell this, guys. Also, we're on YouTube, so if you are a big fan of YouTube, you could check us out and watch our program there. We want you to subscribe to us on YouTube because we're moving a lot of our programming over there to YouTube. You want to go ahead and do that. Check us out on YouTube, okay? And also, guys, we are going to continue to update this story. We're going to post a video to our YouTube channel, post a video on our YouTube channel so you guys can check it out over there on YouTube. And also, our ride along page where you can get 24 hours of programming over there as well. Right there, riderslive.com. There you go, guys. On our YouTube channel, I want you to subscribe to us on YouTube. Ride Along Live, where everyone have a story to tell. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Good night.
Feeling hungry, grab a snack. Caribbean food delight. Jamaican
Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.